Boom! This is Johnny's super awesome vinyl record collection. I don't know exactly how much I have, but I know that they're super awesome, and I'm here to show them all to you. Okay? So the names of the vinyls are gonna be in the bottom left corner of the screen, and the number is gonna be in the top right if Cassie wants to edit it. So we're gonna start, and then Cassie can also talk. She's here. Cassie, show me.
Hey guys. I don't know if I'm in the frame.
There. Okay, we're gonna start off. This one is my most recent purchase. You're Gonna Miss It All by Modern Baseball 10-year anniversary edition. This one's really cool. It's actually a book of it's a picture book from the photographer that followed Modern Baseball during the You're Gonna Miss It All tour. And at the very bottom of every picture, it's Ian, Brendan, Jake, and Sean talking about the picture and what's happening in it. Here, it's a multicolored vinyl. It's clear and green, double-sided, and right here is the double-sided singles with the demos of, I think, Pothole and I think Rock Bottom. I don't know. I'll have to get back on you for that one. I think it's, yeah, Pothole and Rock Bottom, or maybe Fine Grape. I forgot. This one's a really cool find, Either Or by Elliott Smith. I went to an antique store in San Antonio when I went to visit my brother a couple months ago, and they had a vinyl section. Some of the vinyls I didn't like and I didn't even know about. Actually, when I went there, I found this really cool thing. It's the Goats, Thelonious Monk and John Coltrane CD, and I listen to that sometimes. It's really cool. It's very nice if you want to go to sleep. I love Thelonious Monk and John Coltrane, so that's a good find. Some of my favorite songs off this album, I'll be doing that, are The Ballad of Big Nothing, Between the Bars, and Angelus. And Say Yes. Say Yes is his most popular song. It's off this album. Okay. I got it for a good price. The Offspring Supercharged. I got this for Christmas in a Secret Santa from my friend and neighbor, Miguel. Look at that. Boom.
You can see me in the reflection.
Oh.
I'm like laying down awkward.
I haven't opened it yet, but that's also because I've seen the Offspring live back in 2019. That's when I first started reading One Piece, by the way. And I like, let's see, what songs are good on here? Come to Brazil. That's a good song. And Get Some. We don't listen to anything. This is my favorite album out of all the ones I own. Chet Baker Sings and Plays 180 gram vinyl. This is the special 2 LP Gatefold edition. I love Chet Baker. He's my favorite jazz musician. If you know me, I really love jazz and I really love Chet Baker. He's really awesome. And he plays the trumpet and he's an amazing singer. I have a lot of favorite songs off this, but I'll tell you some. I like But Not For Me, Time After Time, My Funny Valentine, There'll Never Be Another You, I Fall in Love Too Easily, and That Old Feeling. Those are my favorite songs. This one is also an awesome find. I went to Austin a couple of years ago, in October of 2 years ago, to go to Austin City Limits Festival, where I saw Alanis Morissette, Kid Laroi while I was in the restroom. And yeah, she was playing while I was in the restroom and I heard her. Or Kid Laroi or Coi Leray. I was in the restroom, which was like a porta potty, and she was playing outside, and she had a really annoying DJ. And most importantly, I saw the Foo Fighters, my favorite rock band of all time. This is Daniel Johnston's Welcome to My World LP. And I bought this because it's really like it has a lot of his greats. I really want to buy a Daniel Johnston LP when I went to Austin because he is an Austin native and he lived most of his life in Austin after leaving the circus. Some songs I like here are Devil Town, my favorite song from him, Story of an Artist, and what else? True Love Will Find You in the End. Back to the jazz. Chuck Mangione. Wait, I accidentally got another right. This is short. This is Chuck Mangiane's Fun and Games LP. It's really nice. It's a very old one. I got this at an antique store in San Antonio. Not the same one. This was an antique store that had a second floor where if you went in, there was this really old guy in this room in the very back. All around him were just all his old vinyls that he was selling. It was crazy. The room was super cluttered, super dirty. Everything was covered in dust, but they had some gems. And he actually said, "You listen to jazz, young fellow? You like Chuck and Johnny? That's really nice. Most kids come in here looking for rap and stuff. I have some old stuff, but I really like jazz. I'd gladly sell you this album. This is awesome." My favorite songs off here are "Give It All You Got" and "Fun and Games." They also have "Give It All You Got, But Slowly." This was really like the start of the slow and reverb era. Another amazing album I have is Rush's Moving Pictures. I think I got this at Second and Charles before they closed down, and it was an amazing find. It was either this or the Toxicity album from System of a Down, but my dad didn't want me to buy that because I didn't really listen to System of a Down at the time, which I should have bought because I loved them. They're one of my favorite metal bands. But this one has a lot of great songs. My two favorite are Tom Sawyer and YYZ. YYZ was one of the first songs I learned to play with my brother and his band back in middle school on the drums. It's a really hard song, but I got to play really hard and it was really fun. The Beatles' Magical Mystery Tour. This is an amazing album with an amazing backside, but it's also really weird. It was made when the Beatles were really famous, and there's some professors at colleges teaching music professors at colleges teaching lessons on the Beatles and their writing, and why you need to look deeper in the writing of songs because sometimes they're really deep. And the Beatles responded by saying, "Our songs mean nothing, they're stupid, and we're gonna make one about a walrus." My favorite songs off here are Strawberry Fields Forever as well as Penny Lane. Strawberry Fields Forever is my dad's favorite Beatles song, and Penny Lane is one of the first Beatles songs I ever listened to. The first jazz album I ever bought was Children of Sanchez by Chuck Mangione. My dad was the one who showed me Chuck Mangione, but my brother is the one who showed me like really good songs by him. Children of Sanchez was actually a soundtrack made for a movie, some Spanish movie a long time ago that Chuck Mangione wrote for. And there's no lyrics on there are lyrics on some of the songs, but my favorite songs are obviously Children of Sanchez, which is somewhat of a fanfare, Lullaby, and my favorite song, Consuelo's Love Theme, which is a 9-minute slow jazz and orchestra song. The Beatles' White Album. This was the first album I ever got. When I got my record player for Christmas in 2019, my parents bought me the Beatles' White Album along with it, and it's one of my favorite Beatles albums. This also came with a poster that I've never hung up, but I want to hang up maybe when I go to college. But this one has a lot of great songs. My favorites being Back in the USSR, Obladi Oblada, While My Guitar Gently Weeps, Martha My Dear, Blackbird, and one of my favorite Beatles songs is Julia. This album's low-key buns. I don't know. My dad bought it for me. Spyro Gyra. It's a jazz funk fusion album, and there's no lyrics, but it's all just jazz and funk, and it's really fun to put on in the background. But I kind of get bored of it after a couple of plays. My favorite song from it is Morning Dance and Jubilee. When I turned 16, my uncle drove in front of my house and dropped off two albums for me. He dropped off 2 albums for me. One of them being Psycho Circus by Kiss. Before this, I really never listened to Kiss, and after listening to this full album, I realized why. But I'm joking. It was a really good album, and my favorite song off it is Within. I wanna be from within. Foo Fighters' Greatest Hits. The cool thing about this album is before my uncle bought this one for me, this was the other album he bought for me, he didn't know that I already owned it on CD. So now I have 2 versions of this album, same front and back. It's a really good album. I wouldn't say it has all their greatest hits, but it definitely does have some greatest hits. I aren't really into buying greatest hits albums. Whenever I have a greatest hits album, it's usually because someone buys it for me. Um, does have a lot of great hits. Side A includes All My Life, Best of You, Everlong, and The Pretender. Obviously, if you know me, you know the Foo Fighters is my favorite rock band of all time, and they have a lot of great songs. So I'd say all of the songs on this album are really my favorite. All My Life, Best of You, Everlong, The Pretender, My Hero, Learn to Fly, Times Like These, Monkey Wrench, Big Me. These are all. This is a call. That one's good. Wheels and Everlong Acoustic that Dave Grohl played on, I think, MTV. I don't know. Pearl Jam 10. The reason this album is called 10 because before Pearl Jam got signed to Epic Records in 19 something, the original name of the band was like it was they named their band over after an NBA player at the time. And because they thought that was funny, and they were like in high school, and they're like, "We're gonna name our band after an NBA player. It's gonna be super funny." And people were like, "Your band's named after him," blah blah blah. But the record label did not find that funny, and they thought if we release an album with the name of an NBA player as your band, we're gonna get sued. So they renamed their band to Pearl Jam and named their first album after the number that the NBA player wore, number 10, which is why this album is called 10. My favorite songs off this one is Even Flow, Jeremy, and my favorite Pearl Jam song, Black. Another greatest hits album, Green Day. Green Day Greatest Hits, God's favorite band. I don't know about that. Here they have glass versions of their albums. I think Green Day kind of fell off. Their newest album was really buns, and everyone thought it was gonna do way better than it did. It was not good. I was once offered a free Green Day hoodie, and I declined it because it was that bad. But it does have some good songs like Holiday, Boulevard of Broken Dreams, Waking Up When September Ends, Guns, what else? American Idiot, and wait, Oakland's Paradise, When I Come Around, She, Longview, and Brain Stew. Um, I forgot what my favorite Green Day song was, but it's definitely not on here. But it does have a lot of good songs. You should buy this if you don't want to buy their other albums. But I do suggest buying American Idiot. Nirvana's Nevermind album. I love Nirvana. Nirvana's a great band. This is like one of the first albums I got. I think it was like the third album I ever bought. But I bought it because, it was Nirvana. I really loved them. This album was their sophomore album, first studio album, I think. And was released to a lot of success because every song on here is a banger, low key. Smells Like Teen Spirit, In Bloom, Comes You Are, Breed, Lithium, Poly, Territorial Pissing, Strain You, Lounge Jack, Stay Away, On a Plane, Something in a Way. I think I've learned all these songs and played them on guitar at least once because they're all really good. And they're like the inventors of grunge. No, they weren't. But they were really good. I think there's one more song here, a hidden track. Uh, I think it's Endless Nameless. I don't know. I don't know if it's on this album specifically, but I remember hearing it on the album, and it was actually an outtake because while Kurt Cobain was recording Lithium, he hated playing the guitar for that song so much that he started just improvising and playing random chords and like breaking his instrument, and that was the recording for Endless Nameless. Cassie said nothing so far. This album I also got from Second and Charles just because of how cheap it was. It was $3. And it's just sounds of the great bands. It's a really, really old album. Back when Capitol Records had this logo and before they signed with Drake. It was a tribute in hi-fi by Glenn Gray and the Casa Loma Orchestra. It's just basically a big band jazz collection album. And it has a bunch of great songs. I mainly bought it because it had one of my favorite jazz pianists and one of my favorite jazz jazz trumpetists. Pianist being Duke Ellington with Take the A Train and Glenn Miller with String Pearls. And there's no one really else here that I listen to. Lionel Hampton's pretty good.
Favorite jazz pianist?
Yeah, pianist.
Okay.
What? Weirdo. And we're almost done. My brother bought a long time ago a Mom Jeans shirt. No, wrong. He bought a modern baseball poster that he right now has on his wall. It was a poster with modern baseball and sorority noise when they went on tour. And the poster he has on his wall is from the show on April 18th, which is actually my birthday, which is actually a really cool coincidence. But with the purchase of the poster, he got this album by Dog Hours called, no, by Big Nothing called Dog Hours, which I've never listened to. I heard some of the songs on Spotify, but my brother didn't collect vinyl, so he just gave it to me. And it's a really cool album cover. But I've never listened to any of the songs, so I can't tell you which one's my favorite. But I would tell you, Still Sort of Healing is probably a good song. And now, I told you earlier that the Beatles' White Album was the first ever album that I bought, but the first ever album I was given before I even had a record player was The Killers' Hot and Fuss Deluxe Edition. My dad got this album when the 10-year anniversary, I think, of Hot and Fuss happened, which the album was released in 2001, so he probably bought it in 2011. And it came with the vinyl and a t-shirt, which I still have to this day, but does have some holes in it from moths, I think. So that's kind of buns. But this
Where's
is
the vinyl?
Huh?
Where's the vinyl?
Oh, it's in here. It's actually a really cool vinyl. It's if I can find where the opening is, where is it? Okay, wait, we might be lost. Where's the vinyl? Is it in here? Oh, it's in here. Okay. This is actually a really cool vinyl. I want you to see this. It's imprinted on a see-through royal blue wax, which is really cool. The vinyl is so old though. My dad did not keep it in good condition, so there are some skips on the vinyl, sadly. But I really love the Hot and Fuss album. I still listen to it on my main Spotify playlist I listen to today. The first songs on there are killer songs from this vinyl. It's really having a hard time to go back in. The Killers were the band that got me into rock music. After that, I started listening to the Beatles, Queen, and then Nirvana, but the Killers were the first rock band that I really ever listened to. And my favorite songs are, I'll give you some good ones. I love Everything Will Be Alright. That's my favorite Killer song. Andy, You're a Star, and Jenny Was a Friend of Mine. The other ones are basic, so don't listen to those. And that's all my albums that I currently own. If you want to buy me more, if you want to tell Cassie to buy me more, don't do it. She's telling me not to. She's saying don't do it. I am looking for a couple more albums to buy. I want to buy A-Sides by Adrienne Lenker. I want to buy her, yeah. I want to buy, what's her other album called? Is it called anything? No, I think, Songs by Adrienne Lenker. I want to buy that one. I want to buy Hey, Hi, How Are You by Daniel Johnston. I want to buy, I'm looking for Sports. Don't buy me Sports or Modern Baseball. I want to find out on my own at a record store, because that's the fun of it. I want to buy, what other albums should I buy? What else do I listen to? Yeah, you heard it here first. Thank you for watching. That was my vinyl collection. Bye.